Hey there, Jim Johnson for AccentHelp.com, continuing the tour of the vowels from fleece to kit to what is commonly called the dress vowel. Thank you, J.C. Wells, for that lexical set word that describes it. So the dress vowel, the epsilon. So it looks like a backwards 3, okay? That epsilon, that is a very common thing for English speakers throughout the world to maybe have some struggles with. The biggest one that occurs big time in the US is what's commonly called the pen-pin merger, where the raises up, that's a diacritic for raising, it raises up approaching maybe the kit, which is above it. You could also think of it as a kit a little bit lowered. That's a diacritic whichever direction the thumbtack is pushing. So it's lowered. This one's raised. So it's approaching this for pen, pin. This is usually thought of as a southern thing. But it actually, I've heard it carrying on easily up into Kansas, which commonly is thought of as being a bit more Midwest. Where I heard it in my dialect tours of recording people, where I heard it fading out was approaching Nebraska. But I even heard a little bit of it in Iowa. And then when you get to like southern parts of Illinois, you're really in the South. When you get to southern parts of certain states that are Midwest, it's actually the South. It's like Southern Light in some ways. So you'll tend to hear this pen-pin, where pen, intending, Denver starts to become pen, intending, Denver. So the extreme would be friends in Denver. My friends in Denver, and it doesn't tend to go that far. My friends in Denver. But people who speak this way, including like down into the Southwest and around in California, you'll hear this as well. Southern California primarily. Probably the influence of people moving there during Dust Bowl times maybe, but it's very common. I was hearing it throughout Arizona, even more so than New Mexico, but I was hearing it from some people in New Mexico. So you'll hear it in various parts of the US. I've even heard it from people from Michigan. So even the far north, you'll hear this sometimes. So the tendency is to think of it as the tendency is to think of that as a southern thing. I will say this will occur like before an M or before an N. We don't tend to have this happen before an NG, but that's where it really commonly occurs. So if somebody is struggling with that one, that's one for them to work on. You will get accents where this gets lowered, especially when the placement is low. I talked about that a bit with the kit vowel. You'll have that happen with other accents where it gets lowered similarly. Because the moment you start to lower one vowel, the other vowel that it's approaching usually starts to lower. Same thing the other way. If you start to raise it, very commonly a vowel will start to move away from it. So you get sort of a chain reaction of vowels that occur. With this one, the biggest thing that I would say is, I didn't talk about it with an R after it. And this would be air, and I'll go into that more when I get into vowel plus R because it's a different beast. This is one way that people will write the air, the square set, as J.C. Wells calls it. And one of the variations of writing that square set is one of the things that commonly occurs for a lot of people who say this, is that this one may get raised a little bit, and in fact for some people it goes all the way to this lowercase e, which we commonly may associate with the A diphthong. A, the face diphthong. A. And when I get to the diphthongs, you'll hear that a lot of accents will say A. Instead of face, they'll say face. Face. That's a very common thing to have happen in many accents. But for some people, they won't say dress. They will raise it dress, dress, dress. That is super common, partially because this vowel, which is commonly considered a lax vowel or a short vowel, because we don't tend to have words that end with it. I mean, like meh, meh, that ends with it, but it's not a common ending of words as opposed to the E of fleece in words like see me, feel me. You're welcome for the Who reference. That this one doesn't tend to end words, okay? And it also does not exist in most languages. So most languages, when we're talking about ESL, English as a second language accents, they will very commonly substitute the A instead, so that dress, mend becomes dress, mend, mend. So that will happen in many accents, raising up towards the A sound. Whether it goes all the way there or whether it just approaches it, that's the lowered thumbtack, right? That says that that vowel's lowered. Somewhere in that land in between, those are the common occurrences, okay? So that's a bit of an introduction to the dress vowel as we're making our way through all these different vowel sounds and how they will shift in many different accents. If you want to learn more about accents, especially accents for actors, you can check out my website, accenthelp.com.